Sligo is a corner of the world that is abundant in scenic beauty and heritage, a place brimful of ancient spaces and monuments from antiquity. In late 2020, Archaeological Management Solutions carried out excavations on the N16, the main road between Sligo and Manorhamilton, and uncovered evidence that will add significantly to the story of Sligo's past.
Sligo is famous for its archaeology. It's extremely rich in archaeology of all periods.
On the N16 excavation, among the structures uncovered were some vernacular sites, such as cottages and evidence of a pottery kiln, for example. But it is the prehistoric sites that were most notable. One in particular was a small site in Lugatober. James McKee was the site director.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting little site. A lot of archaeological features found on it, including a number of linear features, perhaps forming some form of structure, a lot of large post holes and pits as well. In a very interesting location on the side of a gentle sloping hill at the base of Cope's Mountain. An interesting aspect of the site was that in one of the linear features there was a number of very interesting artefacts found which appear to have been placed there deliberately, perhaps reflecting some sort of a ritual activity during the construction of it. There's a lot of stone in it as well, so it may have originally held some sort of a fence type feature constructed with timber posts and maybe wattling, something along those lines. But within the packing we found a number of artefacts. Finds included pottery sherds and flints. There was one very beautiful artefact found. It's a plano convex knife, very lovely grey flint object, beautifully made and placed into this linear feature along with the stone packing. The nature of the structure and the finds discovered within it suggest that it may have been an early Neolithic house. The period of the early farmers and may date to 6,000 years ago. If this is the case, it will be a very interesting and exciting discovery for Sligo.
Another prehistoric site was a remarkable palisaded enclosure excavated in the townland of Castlegall.
The site is located on a prominent spur in the landscape at the mouth of the valley. There's great views from it, looking across Sligo Bay towards the town of Sligo. You see the Ox Mountains, Knocknaray towards Ben Bulben. It's a very strategic location in the landscape. For everyone coming from the direction of the sea and from the lowlands around the sea would have seen it. So almost like a symbol of status to any people visiting the area or wanting to pass through that area going toward the north or the east. Yeah, it would have been a very important site in its day. Palisade is a large fence. It has a functional aspect. It also has a symbolic quality. The palisade was almost completely circular, about 20 metres across, very regular in shape. The palisade itself was defined by about just over 200 post holes. And each one would have originally had a large wooden post, so it was a very impressive enclosure. The posts themselves, going from the size of the holes that were left by the posts throughout the palisade, the impression of them was left with the stone packing around them. We think that the posts that were inserted would have been like large logs, about 15 centimetres in diameter, not far off telegraph poles. Quite large poles. It's impossible to know what height they were, but say, if they're 2 metres high, for example, or higher, it's a serious and very impressive structure. And then inside the site itself, we found a number of large post holes. They may be the remains of an ancient timber circle or a building of some type. Not many finds really on the site. It's within a field that's been heavily ploughed over the years, so a lot of material may have been lost over the years, but we found a few quern stones, one definite quern stone, two possible quern stones used for grinding corn. Very important object in the everyday life of people in the past. As well as being a practical object, they probably held symbolic significance as well. The quern stones that we found were found within the packing of the post holes. And also there was a rubbing stone found among the packing stones of the post holes. It was the stone that was used to rub the corn and to break up the corn. Another artefact we found was within the stone packing of one of the post holes as well. It was a little honey-coloured flint blade that was broken. When we look at the finds from the site, the shape of the structure, its location on a hilltop, it's very suggestive of a site dating from later prehistory, possibly 2,000 to 3,000 years old, and it may well have been a ceremonial enclosure built to define a sacred space or religious sanctuary. We have more work to do, and when we get the results back from radiocarbon dates and analysis of artefacts, we'll have a better idea of what we have found. Wonderful site to excavate, beautiful location and a great crew.